Your local game store means a lot of things to different people. It's a local hub for socializing with others about your hobbies, a place to network and expand your interests, and a marketplace to sell off pieces, as well as to add to your collection. It's basically a nerd pawn shop, where secondhand meets high demand, and it can be confusing and intimidating. But don't worry, now you have a friend in the gaming business. My name is Mason, and I'm one of the owners of Cardinal Gaming, a game store in Louisville, Kentucky. And this is Card Shop Candids. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Card Shop Candids. This is Mason from Cardinal Gaming. Topic today is the types of stores that are out there that you can sell your card games and collectibles to, and kind of the stuff that you can kind of glean if you ask the right questions and kind of just look around. And I'm gonna give you tips and trips. Tips and trips. Tips and tricks for your trips to card shops. That's pretty good. Good recovery, huh? But yeah, I basically have just some general hints real off the top, and then we'll go down into the different categories of the stores that are out there. So right off the bat, good thing to know is when you walk into a place, regardless of what kind of store it is, you want to look for very specific things when you go up and look at their cards. You want to look around, you want to be like, okay, do they have glass displays for all the cards? Or do they have like a bunch of binders sitting around? If it's more of a binder setup, more than likely it's going to be kind of haphazard, not really stayed on top of. The nicer and more lit up and beautiful the glass displays are, kind of the better and more effort that they're putting out there and when they're buying and selling their stuff. So that's something to be aware of. Things in there, if you're talking about glass displays, again, there are stores out there that don't put sleeves on their cards in a glass display. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. But even if they're in a card sleeve, are they in like a top loader? Are they in some other system that displays the cards nicely? They make these little plastic trays that you can put cards down into, and it's like for 10 to 25. So if they have like a stack of a certain kind, they can reference those really quickly. That's all very good information. Gives you an idea of just how serious they're taking buying and selling these cards. One other thing to look for is the types of price stickers that are on there, or if there's any price stickers at all. For example, our store is all online based, and you can come in and scan this little QR code and just look up the name of a card, and it's going to spit out exactly what that price is from our website. Super handy, super cool. But not everybody's as fancy as we are. I'm going to say a majority of places aren't as fancy as we are when it comes to that kind of stuff. A lot of time you'll see like price gun stickers that you just print out and slap on there, and then you kind of got to think about, okay, when was the last time they priced the stuff out? Do they just price it when it comes in and they just throw it out there? You can ask those sort of questions. Hey, are these prices updated, or are they just whenever you guys get something in, they get put on there? Maybe they have like little printed barcodes. I mean, they have some sort of inventory system that's in their system, whatever system that they use, and that may be a little easier to keep on top of. So pricing may be, plus or minus, pretty close, a little bit more accurate than the old price gun method. And again, shows effort and care. So probably, as a good rule of thumb, the more organized and more serious that they take their card game selection is more that they're going to be more accurate and more aggressive with the pricing that they are going to offer you. A place that sells collectibles and card games specifically is going to be a lot more accurate and aggressive and take the time to price things out and be more knowledgeable and faster to price things out than if you go into like a flea market booth or a pawn shop or something like that just has like a little corner display with some cards in it. Probably a good place to get some deals, but not the best if you want to trade stuff and sell stuff to them. So things like that are things that you want to know right off the bat, and some questions that you can ask right off the bat. But let's get into the 5 different kind of categories that I made up to kind of talk about the type of environment that you might be selling and buying cards from, and what to look for each one of these. So I have 5. The most common one, surely right off the bat, number 1, is just like a trading card store. They may do other like collectibles and things. They might do smaller stuff, but they're mainly an organized play. The Wizards Play Network and Pokemon Play Network. Konami has its own Yu-Gi-Oh! Play Network as well. And that's what they do. They have tables set up for people to sit out and play. They might be in the middle of the store or in a section of the store, and then they might have the glass cases and products and stuff out somewhere else off to the side. And this business kind of model it's hard to do correctly because the collectible and card market just in general is so up and down. These stores, this is their bread and butter. This is the stuff that they better know very well, and they better have people coming and playing in their events. So more than likely they're going to be very up and hip on the playability side of things and being super aggressive on things that see competitive play, and they're going to be more apt to pay better on that kind of stuff because they want it in stock to sell to players. But they may not be so aggressive on cheap stuff or bulk stuff and the kind of stuff that really isn't seen play in a lot of places. So something to take note of and things to look around for when you walk into a place like that and you see tables out. Okay, this is a play store. They're going to know what the meta is like for these card games, and they're going to know what's good and what's bad in the game. That's not necessarily to say that they don't know the collectible side or the older side of these card games. I'm sure they do. If they have some sort of card expert on staff, it's probably a dude that's played for a while, and he's going to know the prices and values for a lot of the stuff. So, very good, general, middle-of-the-road kind of place. Sure, you can go in and probably find some deals. If they don't deal in a lot of older stuff, maybe the older stuff sits around more than what the standard playable stuff moves. So maybe you can strike up some deals on that kind of stuff. A lot of these tend to be lesser staffed. Maybe it might be a family that runs it, or just a couple of friends or something like that. Super casual place, kind of informal. That's typically the kind of places you run in with like TCG played stores and people that are actually have tables and stuff set up to play the game. The second place that is probably more common than a couple other things is just sports card stores that may have like a little side section for like playing cards and stuff like that. More often than not, this is older stores that have been established for a while. A guy that's been embedded in sports for a long time. They'll have stuff like sports memorabilia and collectibles and other things that's sitting around. And then, sure, they might have a couple of boxes of Pokemon and stuff in the corner and a glass case for their stuff to be displayed. Unless they are, again, a play store, they typically just are into it for the other reasons, for the collectible and the older card game stuff. So the older Pokemon, maybe the older Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic stuff that has really high value. They may not even mess necessarily with stuff below like $5 to $10 because it's just not worth it to them to really deal with. And it's stuff that, if they're not known for it, they're not going to have a lot of people coming in and out trying to look for that stuff. So they're not going to want to tie up money in a bunch of $2 GXs and EXs and Vs for Pokemon, for example. So that's something to be aware of too. Unless they have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Guy or a Magic guy or a Pokemon guy, more often than not, you're probably going to get probably a good deal on some of your more expensive stuff, but less so on the other stuff. Again, with their focus mainly being on sports, you're going to see a lot of price gun stickers, things like that on Pokemon and these collectible stuff, collectible cards, just because they're not very knowledgeable in it. They're not going to spend the time to price all this stuff. So the prices could be good or bad, depending on what kind of swing the market's in. And it's probably prices that aren't updated very often. And, maybe you can negotiate and talk some deals with them. Because, look, if they have like a big stack of, Venusaur from base set, and you can go through and you can pick out the best ones that you want from that and be like, hey, man, I know you got 8 of these in here. Can you sell me this one for whatever the price might be different than what the other one is? And, they'd probably be way more apt to make a deal with you than some of these other places on the list. So, not always a bad place to stop into. but definitely has its pitfalls if you want to trade as well as to buy for stuff. Okay, number 3 is kind of like the large, just game store, hobby store kind of place. Kind of like what we are. They might have buy and sell things like video games. They might have things like board games, miniatures, more collectible kind of stuff like manga and some anime stuff. Just kind of like your general like nerd hobby store. And again, they can either be large or small, but the size is kind of dictative of whether or not they put a lot of focus in the play. And this is kind of like the most homogenous of all the groups. A lot of things can kind of fit into this kind of category, but it's not as common as I would have thought it would be, because all the stuff kind of makes sense to go together. But I guess there's other places out there if they don't have the knowledge base and it's that kind of product that they just don't want to carry. But for those kind of places, the big places like that, you can go into, and more than likely they're going to be a little more organized. They're going to keep track of things. Again, look for things like price gun stickers versus printed out stickers. Stuff like that's going to tell you kind of their knowledge. They probably will have a TCG guy or a Magic guy or a Pokemon guy that can buy anything else that you might bring in. And more than often than not, those kind of guys are going to be cued into using places like eBay and TCG Player for pricing. They're not going to be looking it up on just Google and just try to throw out a random number in there. And this goes with the number 2 with playable stores. They're going to be a lot more conscious of condition. And we'll do another episode on conditioning and what that can mean for you in a good and a bad way. But more often than not, they're going to use the near mint, light play, medium play, heavy, that kind of standard setup for the playable stuff. And they're going to be pricing accordingly based on the condition of stuff. Normally they go into that kind of nitty-gritty specifics. And yeah, this is a place that, again, you just kind of got to get a feel for. If it's like a mom and pop shop or something that you can just walk into that just has like a bunch of just nerdy stuff. Comic book store is kind of on the same level. And then you have a little section for TCGs. A good place to hop into because they're very well versed in buying and selling things. If they deal with video games and stuff like that, they're aware of market trends and things going up and down. They're going to be a lot more fair and not just throw out a blanket price of just like, yeah, we buy every holo for $1 or something silly like that. They're going to be way more accurate and want to actually go through the effort and the pricing information to get you kind of the best deal possible. And I'm not just saying that because that's what I am. It's just, we do have our pitfalls as well. Again, all of our stuff is online, so a lot of places aren't as organized as we are. So, again, if you have a big, wide berth of stuff that you deal in, there's not going to be a lot of time to going back and doing price changes. Pricing mistakes are going to slip through the cracks, and all those things are just not going to be caught a lot of the time. So that's just something to keep in mind whenever you go into a place like that. I would say the safest bet for buying and selling, just because they're very well knowledgeable in buying and selling of things, but all in all, it's probably way better than just a pawn shop or something like that. It just doesn't have a lot of action in this sort of collectible market. Okay, and number 4. Number 4 is some bigger chain places. There's a big chain called Game Exchange out here in the Midwest. They're actually growing pretty quickly in size, of just like a hobby, again, secondhand store that's kind of like a chain. They buy and sell Pokemon cards too. A lot of the time, those kind of guys are going to have just like big boxes of just like, hey, any rare in there is a 25 cents. Any holo is $1. That kind of thing is going to be kind of pretty common, and they're going to have the more expensive stuff in a glass case display. But these are no means card game or are experts in the field. A lot of these chain stores, they pay their workers pretty poorly. They don't get hired on as like an expert in a certain field. They'll just be a general like store clerk and a manager or somebody might go follow up behind them, make sure that things are being priced out properly. But they're not going to be very accurate. Condition can be hit and miss, and they're pretty much going to price everything the same. So you got to be very careful. Make sure you check out all the conditions before you go and buy a card. But that being said, because they just kind of like throw a price out there onto something, it could either be really good or really bad. So there are deals to be had at a big chain store. You can walk in and get a good deal. Maybe something that they didn't realize. Maybe a reverse holo that's pretty rare from maybe one of the E-Series sets that might be a little more expensive. It might be off in price, or they might price it a reverse rare and when it's actually a holo. Things like that, when they're kind of more murky, kind of like the Ruby Sapphire era of kind of stuff for Pokemon. So they will make mistakes when pricing things up and looking up certain cards, just because, again, they're not experts on this stuff. It's not a lot of things that they want to put a lot of time in, and corporate is not going to be right on top of making sure that all the prices are completely accurate every day compared to what the market is. Again, could be good or bad, could get deals, could not be, but definitely from a buyer standpoint, a place to check out and see if they got anything cool in that you can maybe scoop up on the cheap. All right, number 5, by far the most risky, but could also be the most rewarding place. You're talking about unknowledgeable staff with number 4. Number 5 is just like the generic secondhand pawn shop, flea market booth kind of place. Again, you see the most extreme ends of the spectrum on this kind of stuff. Either they're pricing things super cheap, or they're pricing things way insane. The highest one on eBay, that kind of stuff. They don't care about condition. They're just throwing it in the case and being like, well, it's on eBay. That's what it is. Again, it could be good or bad. Definitely a place to if they have like a bulk box, or things that maybe they just taken in and haven't priced out yet. Definitely ask and talk to them about that kind of place, or that kind of stuff at that kind of place, because more often than not, they will be happy to give you a deal, and you might be catching them slipping by having a $10 card in their bulk box that they want 25 cents for. So definitely be on the lookout for those kind of places, just for deals. Just know that they probably will be definitely picked over more than most places, because, well, the secret's going to get out, and people are going to know that's the kind of place that can get a lot of deals. But they're going to be most willing to negotiate with you. They're going to be most willing to kind of bundle things together if you want to do that kind of stuff, and you really get a good deal on that. So, but yeah, I would definitely not say that these guys are knowledgeable. Sometimes they are. Sometimes there are people that just maybe don't have a shop yet, or maybe sell a lot online. But yeah, that's definitely a good question to ask. Even if you go to any one of these stores, if they sell online, if they, after a while, they ship all their good stuff to online. Some places do, some places don't. A lot of the time, you'll see the same cards in a display case for years before they do anything with them. So, yeah, just something to be conscious of and be aware of. Definitely from a buying standpoint, the last two is probably the places that you're going to get your best bet. But the TCG stores, again, and even like the large like hobby shops that know what they're doing, those kind of places are going to be really good for quality products. You're going to be finding good quality cards there because, again, people that play the game, they understand how to take care of stuff. So even the old stuff and the new stuff, it's going to be normally high quality stuff and better taken care of than some other places that just don't want to put out the effort. And again, just real quick, a couple of questions you want to ask people when they walk in. And be like, hey, do you have an expert on staff that I can talk to about this card game? Or somebody that's knowledgeable if I wanted to build a deck, for example. Something like that is going to be super useful to know kind of what their knowledge base is. If they have multiple people on staff, maybe that there's somebody that's dedicated in that kind of field. Definitely something that you want to take notice of. Again, they have price gun stickers or just prices on their stuff in general. Hey, how often do you guys price the stuff out? Is it up to date? Where do you get your pricing information from? Huge question. Again, there's a lot of places out there that just, you'd be surprised, that just Google a card name and then whatever card price pops up is what they put on it. It happens. It's out there. It's all out there. But yeah, those are the kind of questions you want to focus on and really get to the nitty gritty of. And when you buy and sell, just like the last video, you want to really focus on interacting, getting a check on their knowledge, making sure that they know what they're talking about when they're going through your stuff, to know that they're accurately pricing and giving you a good deal, and they're not just flipping through stuff and giving you a generic bulk price on a lot of things. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Things to look for at all these different kind of places. There's tons of places that are into cards right now, and a lot of places that don't do it very well. So hopefully that helps you guys. See you guys in the next video. Thanks. Bye. Hey guys, Mason here again one more time. Really do appreciate you guys watching the video. Make sure, if you like the series, give it a like. It's free. It costs you nothing. And if you are really liking the videos, please go back and watch the rest of the stuff from the series. Really helps out the channel. You should be seeing that pop up on the screen now. Also, if you have any ideas or topics that you want me to cover, go down in the comment section and let me know. But I really do appreciate you guys. Bye-bye.